and Bill, you probably have more experience with this recently, like, and I've seen some of the comments just following around with your new pages and stuff, but, people have definitely, I won't say they called you out, but have questioned why leave Midwest Whitetail now, right? Because it, transparent, and Jared and Mike and those guys are great, right? And they've been such a big piece of the story. But, Bill Winke was the figurehead, right? I mean, that's what people related to. And so I think for a lot of these guys, and they don't understand, again, how we started this podcast with all the background and the work and the economics of it and stuff. But I mean, they've kind of looked at you as like, Bill, like, why'd you just leave us? And it's a weird, I think you've done a good job answering a lot of those questions, but that's a tough thing because you are still connected to it,
Right. And I think that's where the new voice comes in. The new Bill Winke brands or Bill Winke platforms I'm trying to create. They're not necessarily, like I said, for me to make any money on it. We'll see. Maybe if I have to at some point, I'll figure out how to monetize it. But right now, I don't have any sponsors, haven't had any conversations with anybody, about paying me to be a part of my brand. I'm doing it more as a place for the people who were following me before that wanted help can find me.
Well, we appreciate it.
Well, yeah. and hopefully, it becomes more than that. Hopefully I can, put it this way. I mean, I've gotten to the point now where I don't have to make money doing this.
Sure.
And especially if I don't buy any more land, and I sold 1,000 acres of land.
I mean, is that an option in the future?
That's a lot of money.
You can't tell me you're not still on the radar for land at some point here, right?
Yeah, I am. So that's it. If I don't ever buy any more land, I don't have to really worry about making more money because you can put the numbers together and you can figure out what I got for the piece that I sold, right?
Yeah.
The point was though not to cash out. The point was to try to replace it. Well, if I don't replace it, it's just a hard reality of it. I don't really probably have to create a bunch more income. But so let's say somebody comes along and says, Bill, I got 1,000 acres up here in Northeast Iowa that we want to sell you. I'm like, oh crap. Now I better come up with some money.
Got to figure out how to do it. Well, and you're not an idle hands guy. I mean, you talk about it from the football coaching and the track and field side and stuff, like, and even now, like nobody's paying you, but you're spending X amount of time a day creating content because you need something to do.
Yeah. And plus I feel a responsibility now to the people who have gotten me to, where I got.
Yep.
There was a lot of people that followed Midwest Whitetail that were interested in what I had to say about things. And I want those people to transition over, obviously, to Jared and Mike and sure. Josh and Drake. And I want those guys to step up to that role. And they are. Yep. But there are still a certain percentage of people who want to know, hey, Bill, what do you think about this? And so now I still have a place where I have a voice. And we'll see what that turns into.
What does that look like for you right now, Bill? Like you say, you're creating content right now. Are you filming all your hunts from this past year, or what does that look like for you?
No, right now it's mostly written content and interaction. Answering people's questions. On the social media platforms, and I'm posting stuff on the BillWinke.com website, and I'm going to do more of that. But I'm just trying to have more. Just try to get back out there a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not just disappear.
Well, I mean, that was one of the attractions here, Bill, for me at least. I mean, because you and I have kept in touch over the years, but I always was able to keep in touch with you beyond just talking via content, right? And then after the kind of I sold the farm episode, then it's like what's Bill doing? And then that was kind of my like, what is Bill's life after Midwest Whitetail, right? And I think a lot of us. You owe us nothing, right? The wealth that you've given us over the last decade plus has been just unbelievable, and it probably made who knows how many deer hunters better for watching what you've done. And so you don't owe us anything, but it's kind of like, where's the saga go? Like you can't, you ride off into the sunset and we're all left hanging like in anarchy. You can't do this to us, Bill. Like, what do you mean you're going to ride off in the sunset? I need you. Come back to us. But so I think through what you're doing, that's a big kind of piece of the puzzle that we were all wondering.
Yeah. And for the people that feel that way, they can catch me, on the BillWinke.com website, and I'll continue to do a better job there of making that relevant and educational. But let me throw out an idea and see what you guys think of this. I mean, the whole world can listen now because you got how many millions of listeners?
A lot. 50? Yeah, we're pretty up there. We're pretty up there.
I'm messing with you. So my thought is to do rather than to do daily video blogs, where I got to have a guy in the tree with me.
Yep.
What if I do like daily audio blogs?
Ooh.
Where now I can film a little bit in the tree with my, my cell phone. I can pan and show them where I'm at, and maybe even like little snips when I'm walking up to the tree, and just talk about the strategy. And then at the end of the hunt, just do a little wrap up, right before I climb down and say, guys, this wasn't, it wasn't awesome, but, I did see these two little, year and a half old bucks.
Yep.
Tomorrow I'm going to do this. And I don't have a guy in the tree, and I don't have hardly anything invested in that, from the standpoint of removing me from the passion of just going hunting. Mm-hmm. But I could post something like that if I can get the technology right at the end of every day. And, you throw a little voice recognition software in there, now I've got a mixed media post.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that might be my future, where I don't have a guy in the tree with me. I don't have a bunch of expensive camera gear that I'm lugging around with me. I'm just going hunting, and I've got this little cell phone that produces, reasonably good quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to post off that every day and just see where it leads.
I think it's
that's my.
The audio side has been a huge growth opportunity, right? I mean, thus us sitting here doing the podcast, and obviously we have a visual aspect to this. But when you get into that, I always think back to the if you ever fish like saltwater and even some freshwater places, you hear like the fishing report thing, right? It was always audio type of thing, like here's the latest fishing report, blah 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 blah. And it's real time information, it's valuable information, and it's relevant information. And I think that more and more people are apt to listening to that, whether they're driving to work, they're exercising, they're at the office. It is the next big form of media that has really swallowed up a lot of stuff and is outrunning and outpacing TV for sure.
And I think making it, multi-level, where the same piece of content could be posted on YouTube, because there would be the video element of it.
Correct.
It would be posted on an audio only platform, because you do it in such a way that you don't have to see stuff.
Right.
And then at the same time, if you got the correct voice recognition system in place, it could be posted on my own website as a blog with a couple photos.
Yep.
And that's kind of the direction that I'm leaning. If I can figure out, like I said, the technology of how to do that as painlessly as possible, that's where you'll see me, big time in the future. And that's where the Bill Winke YouTube channel will evolve into. It's never going to be the same as what Midwest Whitetail looked like. I mean, I'm going to stop posting these, traditional, or not traditional, but throwback hunts, at some point. I've kind of freshened up that platform now. Got a few people coming to it. They know about it. There's a reason, for them to care now. Then I'm going to bring out this other style of media at some point, and just kind of see where that leads. I feel like that's as much as I'm willing to do, as far as how much invasion into the classic hunting experience that I'm willing to tolerate. And again, I just don't want to have the guy with me. And not that I don't like the people, but part of the reason we bow hunt is because we want to be alone.
I love it.
I think there's a lot of value to just you doing it the way that you want to do it. And just even you saying that, you're like, man, I just don't want to have a cameraman with me, or I don't want to lug and do all of this stuff. I mean, that's at least, not that we're successful by any means, but that's why we enjoy doing the podcast this way, is that there's no structure to it. We're not doing stuff we don't want to do. We're not talking about stuff we don't want to talk about. It's just, it's fun. It's enjoyable. And I think that, you doing that paired with the fact that what you've always done, I think really, really well, better than probably anybody else, is that it's almost like the hunter's journal aspect. I kind of, in my mind, have the vision of like the old time hunter who kept a note, like literally wrote down notes, and he would talk about, well, today I saw this and I had this encounter with this buck that I think I've seen. And so I think to have an audio version of you doing that on a daily basis, which is unique to our industry, is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think keep it under 10 minutes, and get right to the point, don't do a bunch of, just yakking for the sake of talking. I think people would start following it.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I completely agree. I think that, again, it's that information. I mean, really, the storylines, the information. I mean, that's what we're trying to grab onto, and you can see that there are certain people that are doing it correctly. Yeah, that's why people follow Aaron and those guys on Hunting Public, is that it's just constant, frequent content that's coming out. But then there's a ton of guys that are just they're so regimental in this like framework of 22 minutes and beginning, end, middle, and it's just like, Nobody likes that anymore.
I'm curious, Bill.
Yeah, and so we'll see how it plays. But that you guys are, and your listeners are kind of early in the evolution of the type of media that I believe I'm going to lean toward producing. So it'll be an experiment that we can all learn from, I guess, to see if it works. The trick is going to be figuring out how to make it convenient and how to push it. So yep. I don't want it to be a pull-only system. But again, there's a lot of technology out there. There's got to be certain platforms that I can purchase, where I'm a licensee of something, where I can click here and it distributes my media to all the places it needs to go, and it sends notifications to the people who want to be notified. Mm-hmm. I mean, I got to find that type of a system. And that way, again, if it's a half an hour at the end of every evening, hey, it's all good. If it's 3 hours, not good.
Yeah.
So that's where it's got to get to.
Well, I know I speak for both Jeremy and I, if there's ever any way we can help you with that, we certainly are happy to, pay you back.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We know how to do that. It exists. We know how to do it.
I am curious. Yeah. I am curious, Bill, what approach you would take to that. And I look at kind of like a Midwest Whitetail style voice that's more just raw, or giving an update type of a style versus Chasing November, which is obviously much more story driven and almost polished. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think I'll have to see. I mean, obviously, I'm going to start out just real simple, and then see what it grows into, because that's the beauty of digital, is the audience always tells you what they want. They tell you what to do. All you have to do is listen. That's why you got to read the comments, Jared. Mm-hmm. They'll tell you what to do next.
Come on, Jared.
Well, I hear it. I don't know if I'm fully on board yet, because I do want to do what people want to watch, but not as much as I want to do what I want to do.
Well, I think really when it comes down to the comments, the hardest part is you got to have some tough skin at the end of the day, because you are so invested in it that when somebody says, "Hey, you suck," it's like, "No, you suck."
No, you suck.
See, I couldn't say no, you suck before.
Well, you just said it now, so
now I can't. Now I can say it.
Oh, man.
Take me